Hello, business building warrior. Welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio, the podcast that features hundreds of interviews with successful, proven Amazon course students. And today is a bit of an unusual episode. I'm going to be sharing a letter I received from a new coach on our team. And that might sound unusual, but let me explain. The coach on our team who wishes to remain anonymous, which is why we've received a letter instead of having him on here as a guest, he currently has a full-time job. Now, he intends to build his business to the point where he can leave that job. But so far, they've only been able to have his wife leave her job to work on the business, and he still has a full-time gig. Now, they did $500,000 approximately, 500,000 in sales in 2025 at great profit margins. We're going to get into all of that in a minute. But the reason we're doing a letter here is because he's a new coach on our team. And what we like to do is introduce new coaches to the community when they come on board. But in this case, we can't because he wishes to remain anonymous until he's able to go full-time online. Makes sense? So a lot of the people who come on our podcast to share their success stories, they still have a real job. I'm using air quotes if you're listening, a real job, meaning they don't necessarily want to put their primary job at risk by telling the world that they've got this side business that they're trying to grow to replace their career. You've heard dozens and dozens of these stories on our podcast, and people leave their jobs all the time to go full-time e-commerce online. And that inspires a lot of us to consider doing the same, to pursue that type of thing, or maybe just to pursue a new income stream. The stories that we share on this podcast are what makes it special and different, why it continues to be voted the best podcast for Amazon sellers or one of the best e-commerce shows out there. That's why we have 1,100 episodes, and we have sponsors wanting to get on our show and tell you about their products and services. And we only allow the ones that we love, by the way, on the show, if you've never heard me say that before. So everything we talk about on our show is a sponsor because we use it and love it. Our leadership team, a handful of us are using the services. But I'm digressing. We have dozens of coaches at any given time. And what they all have in common, the coaches on our team all have two things in common. We've been doing it this way for almost 20 years. The coaches have a teacher's heart, meaning they love sharing what they know with others. They just can't help it. They're helpful in the Facebook group. They're always answering questions. They have a servant-minded disposition. They just lean in that direction of loving to see others succeed the way they have, which is the second thing they all have in common is they have succeeded with proven Amazon course strategies. They've deployed it themselves. They're doing it themselves. They're succeeding. That's who we bring into our coaching team. And we've got a bunch of them. Not everyone can take the time to coach others. We have some very busy people around here building their businesses, but the ones who do have the time and a teacher's heart and they've built a successful business, well, that's who we invite in to be coaches with us. And the gentleman that I'm going to be telling you about today, his name's Cody. That's all I can tell you. Again, he's trying to remain anonymous until he leaves his full-time career. He's got a great story, and he is our latest coach to join the team. Now, like I said, he's married. He's got a full-time job, and I'm going to break down some of the details from the letter that he gave us. I'm not going to read it word for word. It's just kind of a bullet point overview of his business so far. And then I'm also going to spend some time on the topic of the day, which is the title of this episode, which is what are the expenses involved in launching an Amazon business? What's the reality of the different software, the different tools, the different options you have available to you? Is there one right way? Are there more than one way to do this? Is there more than one way? And the answer is yes. And to give you a little overview of that portion before we get to it, think of the options as being everything from, think of a scale from like 1 to 10. 1 being, I have very little money. I have very little time. This has to work. I can only put a few hours a week into it. I've only got, say, $500 to $1,000 to start with. I need to be cautious and do this the right way and do it slowly. That's a 1. A 10 might be someone who says, I've got plenty of money in the bank. I'm not too worried about the time commitment. I just want to start another income stream. I've got, $20,000, $30,000 I could spend on this if it's a good idea. What do you got for me? I'm here to follow instructions. I want to step on the gas and go quickly, but I'm not desperate for it to work necessarily, right? You just get my scale from 1 to 10, 1 being I don't have much time or resources, 10 being I've got plenty of time. I want to go fast, but I don't have to have this work for me. I'm not in desperation mode. And by the way, I've got, 10, 20, $30,000 I can throw at this and to make this happen. And I'm excited to do so. So on that scale, where you are kind of determines what advice I give you. And I will do that in the second portion of the episode today. So it's a good two-parter today. Let's have this conversation. The first part's going to take less time than the second part as I go through this letter from Cody, but I just wanted to introduce you to a great new coach. So he's been selling, he started off on eBay. Cody started on eBay in 2021 and opened his Amazon seller account around 2020, but he didn't use it. He almost fell into the private label trap, he says, which we talk so many people out of that around here. If you haven't heard me talk about it before, there's really two types of products on Amazon. There's two sellers. There's people selling their own stuff, a brand that they launched and created themselves, or there's resellers, people selling brands that belong to other people. And we say around here, you're crazy to be a new seller trying to launch your own product on Amazon because you've got at best about a 5% success rate. It's just brutal and it's getting harder. Now, I'm not saying we don't help people do that. We help people do that all the time, but not new students. We want you to be up to the point where you're doing $30, $40, $50,000 a month before we even talk about launching a private label brand. And we want you to have $20, $30, $40,000 set aside for the project before we even work with you, because it's a serious venture. It takes a lot of capital, takes a lot of time, takes some patience, and it takes Amazon experience. So yeah, Cody, in this case, avoided going into that trap, and he's glad he did so. We talked him out of it. He came across the Proven Amazon course community fairly early in his career, and after talking with his wife about the decision, they jumped into our coaching program. They had a great coach. He said from late 2022 is when things started clicking, and he was conservative, but his coach encouraged him how to go a little deeper, how to go a little faster. And now he's doing mostly online arbitrage using a prep center. His team, who we'll describe in just a moment, does about 95% of the work, he says. Because remember, Cody works full time. So his team is doing the heavy lifting. He's put a team in place to build his $500,000 business, which is his sales for 2025. He takes care of things, he says, like account health, and he does some pre-purchase reviews, making sure everything looks good. But his lead virtual assistant does all the purchasing to free up more time so he can work the business. So he's working on the business, not in the business, he says. Managing the finances and leading the team are his focus. So they do a lot of manual sourcing, he says, using tools like Nepeto, which, if you're not familiar with Nepeto, phenomenal tool. We've got a handful of tools that we love. Nepeto is a great partner of our community. A lot of people are using them. We really love them. And you can get a discount on Nepeto if you go to silentjimdotcom/OA leads, as in online arbitrage, OA leads. Get a great discount. Nepeto scrapes tons of websites, finds all kinds of great deals. You can dump those ASINs into 3P Mercury. And that's what Cody says he does. He uses 3P Mercury and Nepeto. Those are the main tools that he uses to grow his database of ASINs that he can sell against. If you're not familiar with 3P Mercury, we've been talking about it a lot on our most podcast episodes. We're making references to it. It is the crown jewel software of Amazon selling at this point. Hundreds of users in our community are using it. What's it do? It manages the whole workflow of the reselling business, and it reduces reselling to 2 simple steps, stated as simply as possible. Those 2 steps are: go find a bunch of ASINs and pour them into 3P Mercury. That's step 1. What's step 2? Run some filters. Let 3P tell you which of your ASINs, which of your products make the most sense for you to sell. That's the 2 steps. So Cody's story is he uses Nepeto. He has his team using Nepeto to find ASINs all over the place, multiple strategies he's using. We'll get into that in a minute, but Nepeto's part of it. He uses some evergreen sourcing strategies that you can learn from us as well. And he's finding tons of ASINs, pouring them into 3P Mercury, letting the software tell him which products make the most sense to invest in. So that's the heart of his strategy. His 2024 sales were right at 500,000 with a net profit margin of right at 9% approximately. And that's after all expenses, travel, everything, mileage. So put about $50,000 in the bank, working part-time, was able to move his wife out of her job, has a small team running his business, and he's scaling quickly. So he's always looking to improve his margins, he says, and he's excited about 2025. Oh, they're on track to do 600,000, he says, this year with approximately the same profit margin. So putting about $55,000 in the bank this year, right? Tremendous story. Imagine a little part-time thing that you hardly pay attention to very many hours a week. You're still working it, but you've got a team running it and it's putting 55,000 in the bank, and you can step on the gas as much as you want and grow this thing. It's incredible. And keep in mind, Cody is a coach on our team now. So as he gets into the groove of uh, his schedule that we're working on right now, he's going to be one of dozens of coaches that are now available. You can call our office anytime and say, hey, I want to work with someone who has these qualifications. Or you can let us pick the coach for you and we'll assign one that we think is the best fit for you. But Cody's in the mix now and we're settling him into his new role. So he's working full time. He works very part-time on his Amazon business. He's going to take on a handful of coaching students at a time as well and help them replicate the results that he's getting. His team allows him to scale, he says. Like I said, full-time job. He's a father as well, married father. And his lead VA has been with him now for 2 years, the virtual assistant who's working with him. And we help people do that around here. We have a program that we just launched and closed. It'll open again in early 2026. You can call our coaching office and ask about it. Our training VAs to help you find leads so that you're not the only one looking for great ASIN leads. You've got a virtual assistant in the Philippines for $4 or $5 an hour, which is a great income in the Philippines. You have to multiply it by 8 to 10 to see how it spends, the US dollar spends in the Philippines. So multiply 4 by 8, $32 per hour, the equivalent if you give someone $4 per hour US. They work hard. They work while you're sleeping. You wake up every day with more ASINs in your 3P Mercury database because someone's following the systems that we've trained and filling up that database. That's what Cody does. He gives a little tip in his letter. He says, hey, don't always trust the sourcing calculator. Sometimes it can be off. Get used to doing your own math. Sometimes some fees aren't calculated or the profit is too low. You got to know how to do the numbers yourself. Don't just rely on a calculator. That's a good tip. And speaking of calculators, every calculator out there, on-screen calculators that are used, Chrome extensions typically, they come as a download and then they charge you monthly, except for one. I'll tell you about the one good free one, and it's phenomenal. But they sit right on Amazon.com. So when you open up Amazon, maybe you're already using Keepa, and the graph appears right there. All the data appears right there to help you make a good decision. Is this a product I want to sell or not as you're looking at it on Amazon? Well, the Chrome extensions, the calculators, they sit right there too. And if you plug in the price you're about to pay for that product, it'll tell you all the details and data that help you make a decision as to whether or not this is a winning product that you potentially want to test. Well, 3P Mercury has a free extension calculator. All the other calculators I'm aware of charge money. There's no other free calculator that I'm aware of that's worth any merit. 3P Mercury's free, however, and it has all the features. How do you get it? You can go to 3pmercury.com/extension, all one word, 3pmercury.com/extension. And that will take you right to a page. There's no catch. There's no credit card required. There's no limitation on features. At some point, that will be a paid tool. It won't change in functionality at all. The only thing that'll happen is the people who didn't sign up in time start paying $30 per month. But right now, you can lock in for life at the free level, which gives you all future improvements and updates as well. You get all the benefits of being a paid user, basically, for free if you sign up now. 3pmercury.com/extension. That's where you go to get that. So, as Cody's talking about the tip using a calculator, you want to be using one, but the data in any of them and all of them sometimes can be a little off. He's like, hey, be sure to check the details because sometimes everyone's overlooking a really great ASIN because there's some math that's off in the calculator. All right. So he also mentions his sister lives a few hours away and helps them. Uh, and they send her some of the profits, which is one of the strategies that he learned from his great coach, Abe. And we love to see that. We love to see sellers take advantage of the unique relationships and the geographical locations of friends and relatives and people they trust and saying, hey, you live right near this great store. Could you once a week, once a month, whatever, go buy the items I send you, put them in a box, slap my labels on them, send them into Amazon. I'll pay you to do this. Why not? Leverage those relationships. This is a relationship business. So you can have team all over the country. That's what Abe did at one point. Cody's coach, Abe, he had a huge team, people all over the place, and he was profit sharing with them as they found great winning products. It's a beautiful way to set the business up. He gives some accolades to his wife, who's been very patient, and he says she's a hard worker, helping him in his business. She came home in the summer of 2024, and she does some shopping and running of the errands and the shipments, helps manage the business, but she's able to be home and work with the daughter, who also helps and keeps things tidy in the garage, which is their prep space. I love it. What a great story. He says he wants to encourage everyone to invest in yourself, get engaged in the community. And I say this all the time, but you hear it over and over and over again from the successful sellers. They engaged in the community, they built relationships, they focus on building their circle of influence in the community. You're going to get tips, you're going to learn new strategies. Get a coach. Part of the benefit of getting a coach isn't just the instruction you're going to get, it's the network, the connections. You're talking with a motivated, virtuous, driven person who's determined to build a great business, and they did it, and they're going to help you do the same thing. Having people like that in your life moves you forward faster, not just in your business, but in many other ways as well. How are they disciplined? What's their schedule look like? What are their routines? How have they accomplished so much with the limited time that they have? They're going to help you in so many areas. Okay, so and wrapping up, he says, "Hey, it's work. You learn a lot of lessons along the way, and I'll tell you, coaching is going to help you prevent a lot of the mistakes that you would otherwise make." But he wanted to share how to scale by building systems and procedures for the daily, weekly, monthly work that's necessary. Another place where the proven Amazon course is going to help you tremendously on those sorts of things, as will a coach. You're unlikely to stumble into doing this the right way. Keep track of your expenses, he says. Absolutely. You have to know when you're profitable. 3P Mercury can help you track your numbers. Tools like Sellerboard can help as well, a great sponsor of our show. You can find a great deal on Sellerboard at silentjim.com/numbers. By the way, they help you know your numbers. Scrolling down in his letter as we come towards the end, he's saying, the things that he appreciates the most about this community. He starts to list out using 3P Mercury has been huge. Getting a virtual assistant has freed up his time, and he loves the replens model. He's a big fan of it. Once you've got a system, just rinse and repeat, scale at the pace and that your time and your money allows you to, and it can snowball quickly. So stay on top of the products that you need to reorder. And there's so much inventory out there that you can reorder, as we prove all the time around here. He says, big thank you to Jim and the community. And it all started with Cody with the Proven Amazon course. And if you're ready to get started, Proven Amazon course, $39 a month. Get over to provenamazoncourse.com. Or if you just want to figure out more about if this is for you or not, give us a call. We've got 3 people on our team who have 2 jobs. One of them is answering the phone and talking to people who are interested in any of our training courses, content coaching, just helping them out, helping to lay out a path for how to get from where you are now to where you want to be using the free low cost, or premium services that we offer around here. And we'd love to talk to you about it. It's a low pressure conversation. You can go to silentjim.com/book a call to talk to them. So that's what they do. They manage our clients, our brand clients who are trying to build brands on Amazon. They talk to them and deal with the challenges and issues that they have. And they spend time answering the phones, talking to people who have questions about our services. That's what they get paid to do. Take advantage of it. Completely free service. Set up a call. silentjim.com/book a call. All right, that's part one of our show today. Probably could have made it its own show, but I'm excited to get into the second part of this episode. Remember that scale I talked about? The 1 to 10. Are you more of a 1? You've just got a few dollars. This needs to work. I don't have a lot of time. I need the bare bones basics. Or are you more of a 10 on that scale? I've got plenty of time. I got some money in the bank. I'm going to do this right. I want to go further, faster. Somewhere in the middle might be, yeah, I've got a little money, but I'm going to take my time. I'm going to wade in nice and slow. I have no need to go further, faster. I just want to prove this thing out. I want to know that it works. Taking my time. I'm willing to spend a few $1,000s over the next several months to kind of see how this goes. All right, I'm going to talk to all three groups now. Let's talk to the bare basics. What are the bare basics? You got to have these things to get going as an Amazon seller. You got to have a Seller Central account. That's $40 a month right there. You got to have a pro seller account. It's hard to do with an individual account, which is free, but it's really, really hard to do. The gating issues, your product isn't going to get listed as FBA as much. It's just, there's all kinds of challenges that are going to be presented if you don't have a pro account. So $40 a month for Amazon selling account, then $20 a month for Keepa, which is the only absolute must-have tool. It prevents you from buying really stupid inventory once you know how to use it. Now, Keepa can be used to prevent you from making really dumb mistakes, and it can be used to help you find exciting opportunities as well. And there's a learning curve. There's always more to learn with Keepa. It has so many features, but the bare bones basic of helping prevent you from buying something stupid, you got to have it. That's $20 a month. And then you got $40 a month, approximately rounding up, for the Proven Amazon course. That's your education. So that's $100 a month right there for your education and to get started, bare bones basic. If you can swing that for 2 or 3 months, that's $200 or $300. As you're getting this thing wound up, you're going to need to have another several $100s. Ideally, you start the whole thing with about $1,000 to buy inventory. So if you're going slow, you're learning slow, you're still going to need $100 a month to make this machine go. Once you get into the Proven Amazon course, you're going to want to go through the Getting Started roadmap. It's easy to find. We take you right there as a new seller. It steps you through tiny baby steps at a time. You can fly through it, or you can take your time going through it. We'd like to see you spend at least 10 hours a week so you don't forget what you learned and you can start to capture some momentum. But as you're going through the Proven Amazon course, it's going to take you a few weeks to find a few items to ship them in. It's going to take a few weeks for those to sell. It's going to be 2, maybe 3 months before you're starting to see money coming back to you from those initial purchases. This is the going slow with a minimal set of software and tools. And that's where a lot of people are. We'd love to serve you. That's a lot of our students who started right there, then they scaled and they poured their money back in. Keep in mind, the things that you're selling on Amazon, let's use a very minimal level of net margin. Let's say 10%, like what Cody was talking about today, right? Say you're getting only about 10% and you're small. Cody's got a fairly larger business and a large team. He's automated everything. It's no surprise that he's only doing about 10% because he's paying a lot of people to free up his time. But let's say you're doing all the work yourself and you're only getting 10%. That's not the annual rate of return. Don't confuse that with an annual rate of return. No, your money's turning over 5, 6, maybe 7 times a year. So you have to multiply multiple times. So let's say you start with $100 and you turn it into 110. Well, that 110, you have to multiply that by 1.1. And then you multiply that by 1.1. And then you multiply that by 1.1. You have to do that 5, 6, 7 times. And that's the return that you're going to have after 1 year. So it compounds up to way more than just 10% because you're turning your money over very quickly. That's if your net margins are at that rate. So your return on investment, your net margins, if your money's turning over very quickly, can compound. Now, in Cody's case, I don't want to cause any confusion. His net for the entire year was right about 9%. That's for the entire year after everything was paid. Okay. But if your ROI is 20, 30, 40%, and you're flipping stuff over and over, I don't want you to think that that's a one-time calculation. You have more money to play with as that pool of money grows. So 10% on 500,000 is a lot more than 10% on 100,000. And you can get to that 500,000 sales level relatively quickly by just rolling your money back over and rolling it over. That's why so many people, including real estate agents and many others who've come through our community, people who are in traditional industries where investing and moving your money is part of the game, they love the replens model because they've never seen returns like this. It's a pretty incredible business model. All right. So we've talked to the people who have a very minimum budget. Should those people get 3P Mercury? No, probably not. The best price on 3P Mercury as I'm recording this is $90 per month approximately. So you've already got your 100 per month. To tack on another 90, now you're at $200 approximately per month in minimum spend for your business. You're already at 200. That means you're going to need to get more than $200 of profit just to get the ball rolling. That means you're going to need to be selling thousands of dollars of product just to break even. So we love to see you start basic, start minimal. That even influences which strategies you might be able to pursue as well, by the way. Rather than going after a strategy that involves finding thousands and thousands of ASINs and combing for the best ones, which requires a tool like 3P Mercury, requires tools like Nepeto and Arbisource. By the way, Arbisource is at silentjimdotcom/arb, A-R-B. Another great tool that helps you find great inventory that you can dump into 3P. But if you're going slow and you have a limited budget, those tools can wait. You don't want to be investing in tools that don't pay for themselves relatively quickly. You don't want to be investing in tools if you don't have a winning process in place yet. So you may spend your time, if you're on the lower end of the spectrum, just looking for good deals, looking for good things that you can flip, looking for products selling for $5 in the clearance aisle at Walmart that you can flip and sell for 20 and clearing the shelf. And you can't find more tomorrow, but man, you grabbed the 12 they had today. You can do that kind of thing when you're low on cash, you're not ready to build a system yet and use software to automate and scale. You don't have a lot of money to put into this or a lot of time. That's the kind of strategies we encourage. Now let's jump over to the other side of the spectrum. If someone comes to us and says, hey, okay, I've got $10, $20, $30,000 I can throw at this thing. I'm ready to go pretty aggressively after it. I want to see something for my efforts within 3, 4, 5 months. I want to build a real business here. What's the plan? I'm motivated. I'm ready to follow instruction. I want to work with, and I understand the value of having a mentor or a coach. Okay, now we're talking about a great candidate for our coaching program. That's a great candidate. Now you can be well short of that and still be a good candidate, but I'm talking about a great, perfect fit candidate. You've got 10 to 15 hours a week minimum to put into this thing. You got $10,000 or more in the bank. Let's talk coaching. And now that's not your last $10,000, by the way. That's $10,000 that you can comfortably deploy at your business. You've got access to that capital. Okay. What are we going to talk to you about? Well, coaching is going to take up a lot of that, and you've got some different coaching options. And we talked about that a little bit. You can call our coaching office and talk through our options. But a few thousand of that goes to having a mentor or a coaching team that you're assigned to that works with you and helps you through this process. We're also going to talk to you about 3P Mercury. That is the fast lane to a robust business because, again, it maximizes your efforts. It automates so much of the workflow. It keeps you out of trouble. It helps you maximize opportunities. It becomes that gathering place of all the products that you're finding using some of the other software tools. So you've got all the basic tools that I talked about earlier, but you've also got 3P Mercury. You've probably got tools like Nepeto or Arbisource. Maybe you're signing up for some buy lists, paying others to find ASINs for you and send you lists of ASINs. Maybe you've got a virtual assistant. You've gone through our virtual assistant training program, which our coaching office can talk to you about as well at silentjimdotcom. Click on coaching. Details are there. Reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you about it. But you've got some of those other options. So you can easily get to the point where you're spending $200, $250 a month, maybe $300 or $400 a month on your business, but you're on the fast lane. You're using tools, you're using automation, you're using services and software to help speed things along. If you've only got $1,000 to start with, you're not going to be able to do that because it takes 2, 3, 4 months to get this plane off the runway. And if you run out of cash before you get off the runway, you're going to feel like, well, I got in over my head. I was too aggressive. But if you've got some cash set aside, plenty of money for inventory, for all these great ASINs you're going to find, you're going to be off to the races. So our goal is to evaluate how big of a runway do you have, and then get you going as fast as we can down that runway and up into the air and taking off with your business. So not everyone is suited to have all the tools that we offer around here. Hopefully this is making sense. Everyone needs the Proven Amazon course, great instruction. Everyone needs Keepa, the $20 a month software. Everyone needs a Seller Central account to be an Amazon seller. You got to have an account, costs you $40 a month. That's $100 a month. After that, it's how far and how fast are you wanting to go? How soon are you wanting to get there? How much capital do you have? How much time do you have? So what about that person who's right in the middle, kind of wanting to take their time? That's where the 3P Mercury decision, the coaching decision, you're kind of on the tipping point where, okay, I could go one way or the other. Are you more cautious or you want to take your time? The one thing I would say about that is that there's a higher cost to going slow and doing it alone than you might suspect. And that high cost is the mistakes you're going to make. We see people all the time. They understand 90% of it and they just kind of think, I'm going to figure this out. I don't need the Proven Amazon course. I don't need a coach. I've got this opportunity. It makes a lot of sense to me. If I buy 2,000 units of this widget, I'm ungated. I'm just going to buy it super cheap. I got an inside deal here. I'm just going to sell that and let that be how I launch my career on Amazon. Well, it turns out that the person they bought it from wasn't authorized. They sell 20, 30 units, and then suddenly they get challenged on the authenticity of their inventory, and Amazon shuts them down, and they're stuck with all this inventory. If they just would have spent 2 minutes with someone who knows what they're talking about, they would have known that and about 50 other little things, like you just don't want to do them the wrong way. Instruction keeps you from making really dumb decisions. So it's not just about learning where the opportunity is, it's about learning where the pitfalls are as well, so you don't fall into one of those. We don't just want to give you speed on this runway. We want to light that runway up. We want to have lots of lighting shining on that runway so you don't cause an accident. That means knowing where the danger is. That's what coaching and instruction can do for you. So even if you're in that middle point, let's say you've got $5,000, $7,000 you can throw at this thing, not quite 10, but $4,000 to $7,000. That's where, depending on how aggressive you want to be, 3P Mercury may or may not make a lot of sense for you right out of the gate. Now, once you've got proof of concept and you're wanting to go further faster, it's absolutely going to make sense to you, because now you can be like one of the recent podcast guests who found 45,000 ASINs after a few months, combed through and found almost 4,000 test-worthy ASINs, and he's in the process of testing through them. You can be a story like that, but that takes time and energy and some capital because you're paying for 3P Mercury every month. And these other tools that pour ASINs into it, you're paying for those every month. So hopefully that helps you break down where you're at in the spectrum. Now, if you want to think this through live with someone else and do some napkin math and kind of see what makes the most sense for you at the season of life you're in right now, free resources, low cost education and resources, or maybe go further faster, pay a little bit more, get an expert there with you on call. By the way, if you get into our coaching program, it's not just a coach that you get. You get my personal cell phone number. I have coaching students text me and I get them off to where they need to go. It happens all the time. You also get a reactive coach, which is someone you can text or email when you have a quick question. You've got regularly scheduled sessions with your coach who's moving you through this process. You get all kinds of other access to resources and different benefits that I won't go into right now, but it's not just a coach. A coaching program isn't just a coach. There's so much more to it. We'd love to talk to you about it. So whether you're using our free resources or whether you're using our premium coaching and other offers, we want to meet you. We want to talk to you. And we'd love to help you think through this decision. You don't have to make these decisions alone. We're here to help out. Our community is all about creating success stories. And we know that every success story we create is a flywheel of momentum and encouragement. There's a synergy there. There's an abundance mindset there. So we love to see these success stories because it just encourages and equips and fuels so many good things for the rest of us. And these great students who turn into advocates and coaches, man, they pour so much energy, just like that letter we read from Cody today. What a great letter. So that's how I tie these two chunks of messages together is that letter from Cody, which was tremendous, encouraging. How did he start off? He was a clueless, proven Amazon course student, sold a little bit on eBay and said, oh, I'm going to try this Amazon thing. He didn't know what he was doing. Now he's got a $600,000 sales business with great margins and it's completely freed up his wife from her career. And he'll be coming home eventually too. And he's a coach on our team. So we love helping clueless newbies because we know if we can turn you into a success story, then you become an advocate and a coach and help build this community and pour energy back into it. It's a flywheel of abundance and success. Like I said, that's why we spend so much time at our own expense helping new sellers figure out this stuff because we know that it just creates this incredible community that you're now a part of if you choose to be. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today. That's all I got for you. Hopefully, this has been some good clarification for you on what tools you need and how much money it's going to cost to get this thing off the ground, as well as some encouragement from one of our latest coaches who've just joined the team. We'll use his full name in the future, but for now, we're just calling him Cody because he's got a full-time job, like I said. But if you want to hear plenty of episodes with real people, first name, last name, Facebook profiles, jump in there, meet them, have conversations with them. That's what this show is all about. We've got dozens of recent episodes like that, hundreds of them. We're past episode number 1100 at this point, and the vast majority are interviews with real people like that who've built great businesses. And they're there to meet. Sometimes they add on exciting new opportunities and do different things, but replens and the proven Amazon course basic introductory strategy of filling the underserved shelf space in Amazon's hundreds of warehouses, man, that remains the greatest business opportunity in our opinion because it's low risk, low cost, low barrier to entry, high odds of success, better than anything else that's out there that I've seen. If something better is out there, more consistent, more of a blue ocean of opportunity that we can all jump into and enjoy each other's company and inspiration and encouragement because the opportunity's there. Well, hey, just let me know about it and we will start teaching and investigating that as well. But for now, Amazon is hands down that business opportunity with a very bright future. We're excited to be teaching it heading into 2026. God bless you, business building warrior. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. We'll have another great one for you just like this very soon.